But
Mhm.
let's go to another area where people are also affected by COVID, and that's learning during COVID, especially distance
Mhm.
learning. Have you heard anything about like distance learning challenges for like students, for teachers?
Yeah. Well, I recently kind of did like a survey on my social media for parents specifically, asking them how they felt about distance learning, whether or not it was, if they liked it or not, or they thought it was tough. Majority of them thought it was very tough because, yeah, if you have a job, if you're a single parent,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's gonna be challenging because you have children to take care of, but at the same time you can't take care of them because you have your job.
Exactly.
And um, yeah, so as of now, a lot of people have been having challenges. For college students, I some of my friends are college students doing distance learning right now. They still feel that it's yeah, a lot of them really miss being in class and that
Mm-hmm.
one-to-one interaction with their professor is something that they all really want to have right now. And
Right.
to be all online is going to be challenging for now.
Anything over an hour on like online is just brutal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially imagine the like the little kids going online like
Mhm.
as a kindergarten teacher, how are you supposed to keep their attention? When they all want to move around, they all it's hard for them to pay attention. So an
Yeah.
interesting
It's,
thing that I've seen is for for kindergarten and preschool below, they're allowing them to go in to class and to do in person, of course, limited, of course.
mm,
I found it very interesting because um, for middle schools and high schools, everybody is online. I'm not sure how private school is doing it, but for
mhm.
public school, everybody's online. But for preschool and kindergarten, they're allowing some kids to do in person, which begs the question of, since these are like growing children, shouldn't they do more online classes because their immune
Yeah.
system isn't as developed as someone that's like 10 to like 14 years old.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean it's been tough for a lot of families because a lot of families might not have the technology to have these distance learning
That's
classes.
true. That's true.
So yeah, it ties back into like all the funding and yeah, I mean Hawaii has a very high unemployment rate, so a lot of people have been dependent on these allowances from the government. So
Hmm.
yeah, having distance learning has been a challenge.
No, that's a very interesting perspective on like funding. It's like you never really think about it because you assume every single school should supply their students with iPads and computers and laptops and whatnot. But the matter of fact is like some schools don't get that funding. And then now how is that student supposed to learn? That puts them, especially during this year and next year, it puts them at a major disadvantage because they can't
Does
learn the same as the other students. So
yeah,
how would you bridge that gap? Like what would you recommend to those students that don't have those funds or families that don't have that fund to, you know,
yeah. I mean, doing a little bit of research, I do know that there are some places like these co-working spaces where students that don't have technology at home or like this advanced technology at home, they can
mm-hmm,
go to these spaces and do distance learning. So there are resources out there. I'm not sure exactly how big of a space they can fill, but
mm-hmm.
they are providing yeah co-working spaces specifically for kids kindergarten through 12th grade. And yeah, I mean, as a parent, I would take advantage of that. Um, we'll try to have more information on that. Yeah, available.
Yeah. Because then for me, if that was my situation, like the first thought would be to like go to a library you know, but obviously library are closed. So probably the next thing I would do is email a teacher, and then like maybe that can go up to the principal and just explain my situation. Because I think a lot of times people just accept the fact as it is, and it's kind of like I'll relate it to COVID is like some people, they take COVID like, oh my goodness, I'm unemployed, I can't do anything, you know, I just gotta wait it out. And then you see some people, it's like, okay, you know, it happened, I'm unemployed, it is what it is, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read books, I'm gonna learn online on these free classes, I'm gonna keep developing my skills. So it now is really a time for people, including students, adults, teachers, to be super or double down on being really proactive with your learning. You know, as best as you can. Even if you don't have a computer, you still have a mouth. You know.
Yeah, there's a lot of room to educate yourself on. Yeah, anything, anywhere, anytime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so going back to parents just having a tough time. A story I recently asked my sister-in-law because she's been doing distance learning. So she told me that she doesn't have any more me time because basically when her son is doing the classes, she has to be there to make sure, okay, he's getting the materials that he needs. He needs to do this, he needs to do that. So in a way, she's like a teacher herself. You know, you're being the teacher to the teacher. So it's basically a full-time job. You're just not getting paid. And you have to provide lunch. You know, you have to provide snacks. You know, and you have to keep motivating them. So it's been real tough. I can't imagine what it's like to be a single parent working from home and having to help your kids. One of my friends said that like her neighbor is just going bonkers because she has to do that. And I don't know how they do it. It's moms are just or like single parents or moms and dads.
Yeah, single parents for real. Yeah, it all ties back into like mental health as well. Like, is your mindset just going berserks with everything going on? Yeah, so I give it up for all of these single parents that are trying their best to educate their kids while balancing their own lives as well. And yeah, it's...
Let me flip it back to you. Okay, let's say you're a single parent and you have a kid that needs to do distance learning and you're working from home. Okay, what's your game plan?
Game plan? I mean, I have no game plan. It's just... Yeah.
learn on the fly.
Yeah, pretty much learn on the fly. There's gonna be challenges, whatever corner of the house, kind of thing. You're gonna have, it's a puzzle piece, figuring out, just different tasks. As kind of mentioned in our last podcast, we kind of set time for our daily tasks and try to prioritize what's important. But as a single parent, if I was in that position, your children is going to be priority because they're going to be home.
You made a
day.
very good point about priorities. Very, very good point. If that was me, I would do exactly as you said, like prioritize. I gotta sit down, breathe a little. Remember how we talked about like taking a step back? Because if you're so engrossed into the problem or the situation, you can't see the big picture. So what I would do is definitely take a breather, step back a little bit. Okay, what's my priority? Okay, first of all, making sure my kid needs to do whatever they need to do. Second of all, doing the work that I need to do in order to pay the bills. And third of all, make sure that I'm not going crazy. So the first thing would be, I think I would let my boss know if I'm working from home. Is, hey boss, I got to teach my kid this and this. I have to be a full-time teacher. I'm just letting you know what's going on. So then the boss can be like, okay, thank you for letting me know. But that way they can empathize with you more and not like, you know, hey, you missed the deadline, and you know, and to tell your boss, hey, you know, at this time and this time, I'm working on the assignments that you assigned to me, and I'm helping my kids. So I might not be as responsive during this time, but after my kid is done with school, yes, I'll reply to emails, I'll call you back and such. Letting your boss know what's going on. So communication is super key.
Yeah, it's key.
Second of all, if your kid is old enough, if they're not old enough to understand, then you gotta work with what you got. But communicating with your kid as well. It's like here's what we're gonna do. If you have a schedule, great. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Basically, run over the game plan with them, because at the end of the day, they're still a part of your team. Okay?
Yeah.
You can't exclude the kid just because they're a kid. You gotta bring them on the board, communicate. Hey, this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna be to school through this time. Okay, have fun, do your best. I'm gonna still be here, but I'm still gonna work on my job because I want to pay bills. I want to buy you toys. I want to buy you food and such. And explain that to them. Make sure everyone's on the same team. And then third of all, prioritizing mental health and just giving yourself time to like breathe or just walk around, clear your head. Like if you have a friend or parents, that can watch the kid for you, great. If not, tell your kid, hey, can you just chill somewhere or give them a toilet paper for 10, 20 minutes and just have time for yourself. I think that's so important. A lot of parents, they're just like, oh, kid, work, and they don't give time for themselves. They forget about that, and eventually they burn out. So please do give yourself time to de-stress. I know that might not be a priority because you need to make money, you need to get these things in order, but you got to take care of yourself first in order to take care of other people.
Exactly. You're ready for parenthood, sir.
No. I want to travel, Kenny. I want to travel.
But yeah, I mean, tying into what you said, just setting your priorities straight, and depending on how many kids you have, or just having one kid can make a difference, especially trying to do all this distance learning that a lot of these families are doing right now. It's give it up to them.
Mm-hmm. And then we can say a lot of stuff, but it is in fact a lot harder than it is. But make it a little bit easier on yourself by having a game plan. It's better than nothing. You're just freestyling. By having a game plan or some kind of structure, you're able to lessen, the stress on you, because what's going on. It's kind of like, it's like going to like a football game and you have no plays. You tell your receiver, say, run somewhere, I'll throw it to you. It's even though your plays might not work, it's something if option A doesn't work, you go to option B. Then you go option B. And then you go option C, that doesn't happen. And if everything fails, at least you have something. And then maybe if you need to freestyle, you can freestyle, but have a little structure just to help yourself out.
Yeah, and then it does go back to all these small businesses just trying to find plan A, plan B, plan C, setting up that game plan. And so everybody's been adjusting to these challenges and trying to make these game plans that we all really need in life.
I agree.